The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks, and welcome to the August 15th, the magnificent Monday edition of today's Trader's Edge Show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. And let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. And the easiest way to do that, well, it's to always remember that life is happening for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I make that one little 2x4 shift, it means we can find the gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to toss at us. Now, today, you and I, we're going to go check on the circumstance of these markets. We'll go figure out what those bulls and bears, what those buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I at just past 11 o'clock in the morning. I know I'm always so used to saying 1 o'clock, but it's just past 11 o'clock in the morning. And I want you to know I'm absolutely grateful for your presence here. But more important than that, and that's this. During this next 53 minutes, I'm here to serve you. So feel free to pick up that phone. You can dial on in at 877-927-6648. Now, if you can't dial in, we've got you covered there, too. You can always send me an email. Send it early, please. Send it to steve@tfnn.com. And inside the subject heading, if you would be kind enough to put radio show question. Of course, inside our Tiger's Den, well, any and every ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on Magnificent Monday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. Right now, I get all the U.S. indices trading to the downside. Dow's off 44 points, less than 0.2%. S&P about 0.3 or 12 points. NASDAQ 100 less than 0.2, 21 points. Russell's off 0.6 or 13 points. Semi's down 0.9, 27 points. Trend is off 0.5%. That's 81 points to the downside there. Gold is off $22. Silver's down 53 cents. Light sweet crude off 3.82. Natural gas back 11 cents. 30-year Treasury is putting the upside. It's up 1 full point at 141.19. Leading the charge, dollar-wise, the upside, you got Illumina Inc. up $19, 9%. Nice day there. Booking Holdings, less than 1% or $17. Tesla, $14, 1.6%. Viridian Therapeutics to solve something. They're up 61%. That's $9. Buckaroonies, and Magic Empire is up $8 or 98%. Boy, they really did something there. Let's go take a look at what the shakers are. Well, that's Karuna Therapeutics off $14, 5%. The oil OIH is off nearly 5%. You would expect that's down $11.40. Solar Edge Technology down about $9. Generac Holdings off almost 9. Asmil Holdings off about 7. That's about 1% to the downside. Of course, I want to look at what you want to look at. Let's first start by taking a look at what? Well, let's do this here. Let's just try to understand what the markets may or may not be communicating to us. We're going to go take a look at our indice charts from last week. So let me just switch over to that set of charts out there. You give us a moment here. And so what we're going to look at, the upper left-hand corner is the Dow Jones Industrial. What we do not have is any kind of a topping pattern out here. Right now it shows as a doji candle. Again, it's going to matter what it looks like at the end of the day, not 11:10 in the morning. But there's nothing bearish about the chart setup on the Dow. There's nothing bearish about the chart setup on the S&P 500. No topping signal. TD9 count pattern that last week got negated. If we look at the NDX 100, on Thursday it generated a bearish engulfing candle. On Friday, price closed above that. That negated that potential sell. The D-point pattern, price above its green oscillator and change line. So everything looks pretty bullish here. I do see a wave number 7 signal out there. I believe we made a higher high today, so that's just simply going to extend itself. Yep, there we go. So I can't get that kind of a top. The earliest would be tomorrow. Russell 2000 negated its sell the D-point pattern. That was a bearish shooting star that formed on Friday. Price closed above that on Thursday, I should say. Price closed above it on Friday, negating that signal. It is still bullish. The semis ran into resistance, and so their resistance level that they are dealing with is a TD9 count breakdown area, 3082.38. If price can take over those levels, then we should see price head higher. It's not a top. It's just a resistance point at 3082.38 out there. It can be a top, but price above that green oscillator and change line, it is not a top as we speak at 11:11 on August the 15th. If we take a look at the transports out there, they still do have their sell the D point pattern. And that was because Thursday was that bearish shooting star candle. So price needs to take out that high. When I mean take it out, I mean close above it at 15,289.51 for it to get its bullish signal back to you and I. If we look at the NASDAQ composite out there, it negated its sell the D point on Friday as well. New York Stock Exchange did the same thing. So we take a look at these core set of indices out here. What we're not seeing is any kind of a top. Doesn't mean that one can't start, but we're not seeing a topping pattern or signal as we speak right now. So if we go take a look at this chart here, this is our set of charts where we take a look at the daily price movement, and we're looking for our consecutive, I did say that, consecutive either closes above prior closes or closes below prior closes. The closes below prior closes, those would be your red numeric numbers out there. Numeric numbers, you got to love that, Stevie. And the black digits out there, those would be where we have consecutive daily closes above a prior close. Why do we want to take a look at this? Well, one, when we start taking a look at retracements out there, first, I developed the oscillator and change line to be able to assist me, to assist you in interpreting whether retracement is just a retracement. At this stage here, that's all that it is. Doesn't mean that it can't turn into something else, but a retracement back to the green oscillator and change line, or red in this case, but right now it's green, is nothing more than a normal retracement back to a level of support. We've seen that area get tested. That area right now is at 13,265. I'm not saying that price is going to move back to that area, not as we speak. The other thing, and really the point to put this chart up here on the screen, is to take a look at the consecutive retracement days that we've had coming off of the bottom. We first had a 2 retracement consecutive day. We then had a 3 consecutive retracement day, another 3 consecutive retracement day, a 3 last week out there. So everything here is really, quite frankly, normal. Those 2 to 3 day retracements, especially when the oscillator and change line is held to support, is nothing more than just what is referred to as a knee-jerk reaction. So the NASDAQ 100 is still strong like bull. It will maintain that momentum as long as the NDX 100 continues to close above its green oscillator and change line. That's at 13,265. Of course, that's going to change as price moves up and down. If we take a look at the semiconductors out here, let's just go take a look at the SOX index. Let's get that up on our chart out here. Because, both of these would have to show us some real tops if the markets were going to get moving to the downside. As we take a look at the semis out here, we can see last week we had that 3-bar knee-jerk reaction retracement. We had one prior to that. Now, last week there was a bit of concern because it indicated that semis had lost their momentum because they had closed below their oscillator and change line. But you know what Stevie says, you got to have a 2-day. One-hit wonders, they can generate some nice tunes out there, but what you want to see is conviction. You want to see confirmation. And really, the semiconductor index did not get that last week. So as long as price remains above 2997.55, it still is bullish out there as well. And again, last week, it did negate its sell signal. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
In a time of booming inflation, where your purchasing power is eroded, there's no better place to protect your hard-earned money than in gold. Vista Gold's flagship asset is the Mount Todd Gold Project in the Northern Territory of Australia. This is Australia's largest undeveloped gold project. We are talking a world-class gold project in a Tier 1 mining district. This is a large-scale, low-cost project with significant existing infrastructure in a politically safe and friendly mining jurisdiction. Vista Gold just completed the Mount Todd feasibility study, which resulted in a 7 million ounce gold reserve in a 16-year mine life. All of this, combined with the approvals of all major operational as well as environmental permits. This distinguishes Mount Todd as an attractive, de-risk partner ready development stage gold project. Vista Gold trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol VGZ.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, folks. All U.S. indices still in the red. Dow 43, S&P's off 12, NASDAQ 117, Russell is off 15 points. We're going to go take a look at Vail, or Valley. VALE is the ticker symbol out here. This is for Sharky inside the Tigers, and his question is, has price found support? So you do have a brand new daily profile, Sharky. Now we've got see him move lower out here. He had that in a nice bearish shooting star candle. Didn't really complete an A to B equals CD pattern on the upside. Let's just take a look at it out here. Here's our A to B leg. We'll just simply move that over to the C point. And what we will see is that, well, I take that back. That's close enough. So what you did get last week out there, Sharky, was a confirmed sell the D point. And that confirmed with that bearish shooting star. Then the very next day you get a new profile. That new profile is where price is trading within. So resistance levels on a daily time frame, 1416. Support, 1287. We can see that the red oscillator and change line is slightly above the bottom of that profile, 1287. So that's really your zone of support, 1287 to 1289. If we look at the weekly time frame chart, we know that last week's sell the D point pattern was also a move up to its red oscillator and change line. So there's another level of resistance out there. So you got your top of your shooting star candle from last week. You've got that red oscillator and change line. That's what Valley or Vail would need to, probably Valley, would need to close above in order to suggest that maybe you've got some type of change in trend out there. From a volume standpoint, let me just go look on my other set of charts out there, see what kind of volume we have today as it heads toward that support level. So you're only about 9 million shares in the first 2 hours of trading, 26 million shares on Friday. So we're at 9 times 3. Yeah, you've got some pretty decent volume today. So similar to that of Fridays. And price is testing a swing point that had 38 million shares from August the 14th. So that's the swing point right here that created that morning star candle formation out there. So if price is pulling back with what appears to be some lighter volume, but if you're looking to enter this position and you were asking about support, I'd look for that 1287, 1299 area. So I hope that helps you out, Sharky, inside the Tiger's Den. Thanks so much for the request. The next request is from John C. John wants to take a look at light sweet crude. So let's go over and take a look at the light sweet crude charts out there. I believe that John is short oil, if I'm not mistaken, via the USO. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. Now I'm going to look at the daily time frame, the September contract, although we're rolling over to October here. The key level that you're watching for is the support from July 14th. That was a hammer candle. That set up a Gartley buy pattern. And the price closes below that low, which is 88.23. That's going to suggest lower price. So prices so far tested it and so far rejected it. So we got a bit of a consolidation that is between, in essence, the low of the day and about 95.93. Now, if price does close below that low, what I probably should do is get out my weekly chart out there. So I think I can do this here. Yeah, this will work. So let's do this. I'm going to put up the September contract. Give me just a second here. Just want to see what the weekly chart. So here's the weekly chart. This might help you out a ton too, John, and that is following. So you can see that we have taken out the lows of last week and the week before. The week before was bar number 7. That low was 87.01. Today we got down to a low of 86.82. What that did was that triggers on a weekly basis the potential for a TD9 count bottom. And that TD9 count bottom could form between this week and next week. All you need for this week to complete the pattern is for light sweet crude to close below the close of bar number 5, which is 94.70. That's for the September contract. Now, let's go take a look at the October contract, see if we can get the numbers for you here, because that's something else that you would want to take a look at. So when we take a look at the October contract, we have a slightly different setup. And that setup shows that price has not gotten below bar number 7. And that low out there would be 86.06. So if during the week, this week or next week, price at least pierces that low, 86.06, that would then set up a TD9 count bottom for the weekly time frame. So we've got it for September. I don't know what the USO, it trades off the forward futures contract, I believe, but you need to go back and take a look at that. And I know you always follow the futures out there, but the question is what's inside that USO? And I don't know the answer to that, but it should be rolling over to October. So I think you want to take a look at the October weekly chart out there and just watch those levels. Do we have any reason to suggest that you jettison your short position? You'd feel much better with a close below that hammer candle. Oh, let's do this here. Yeah, I can do that off of this chart here. I don't want to have to update everything, but let me get CL. We took a look at the weekly, 1022. I want to take a look at the daily. I'm assuming, but I don't want to assume anything, that we also had a bullish hammer candle. Well, we did not. See, there we go. So as we take a look at the October contract, the July 14th candle session out there was not a hammer candle. Okay, Stevie. So where's your Gartley buy pattern here? The Gartley buy pattern here has been negated because that would have been the low from the close of July 6th out there. And price closed below that back on August the 14th. So on a daily time frame with regard to light sweet crude, I don't have that same setup as the September contract. So therefore, what this tells us is that if price closes below the bottom of its daily profile, and that's what's held as support here, we're talking October, John, that level is 87.43. If price closes below that, then it makes sense on the short side, and would also suggest that price would go tag or target its TD9 count breakout level. That's at 81.88. So let's take a look at light sweet crude, both the September and the October contract. Let's stay with the September here right now. Just look at the intraday charts, see what we see out here. So you've got on a 10-minute chart, you've got a nice Rhodes momentum indicator bottom pattern. Price gets right up to resistance, 88.48. That's the TD9 count breakdown level. If price is able to close above that on a 10-minute basis, suggests a move up to the 90.36 level. You've got a nice Rhodes momentum indicator bottom in the 15-minute chart. No topping pattern here. You've got a Rhodes momentum indicator bottom and TD9 count bottom for the 30-minute time frame chart. This is suggesting that light sweet crude could make its way up to 91.38. Well, how are we going to know that? I think the way that we would know that, John, is by watching the 60-minute time frame chart. It's the September contract we have up. It's the oscillator and change line that has really acted as a deflector, as a resistance level. And therefore, we can see that the top of its profile and that red oscillator and change line is right around each other. That's priced at about the 88.65 level. If you're to see it close above 88.65, then that signal would be prices likely to make its way to 91.38. That's coming off that 30-minute time frame chart out there. On the 120-minute chart, what we have is a buy the D point pattern. That formed a bullish hammer candle, specifically at 10 a.m. So a little over an hour ago, hour and a half ago. So that's got a bottom. That suggests that price should move up to 90.14 out there. The 240-minute chart, TD9 count looks like it's going to go ahead and complete. That would not be until 2 p.m., so we've got another 2.5 hours out there. But if it does, price pulled back to its breakout level of support of 87.66. That suggests a move to the 90.68 area out there. So what this is telling us is intraday, watch the 88.65 level. Price closes above that, John, then you should expect and anticipate, I'm not saying close out the trade, but you should then definitely anticipate a move higher. And at 91.38 level would be the target. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We get back from this break, we're going to go take a look at DKN for Kuma, CVX for Hector, and I want to hear from you too. We'll be right back.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. So we're going to take a look at DraftKings. DKNG is the ticker symbol out there. This is for Kumis, and just wants a bit of an overview as to what DraftKings is doing out there. So trade out of 2089. As we take a look at I haven't looked at this for a while out here. So this formed a nice little Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom back on May the 12th. makes a nice move higher, pulls back into support of the bottom of its daily profile, and basically takes off from there. With regard to the daily time frame out here, the daily time frame is suggesting to us that it wants to go target 2377. 2377 is the daily TD9 count breakdown area. There's no topping pattern that is in place out here on the daily time frame. So let's move over to the weekly chart. And Kumis, on the weekly chart, this formed a nice Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom as well. That was the week of May 13th. Price above the top of its profile. You're only in bar number 4. This is saying that over time it wants to go target 3771. You're trading at 2088. On a monthly basis, DraftKings formed a nice TD9 count bottom. Price is now above the top of its monthly profile. When you get a bottoming pattern or topping pattern out there, in this case here we're looking at a bottoming on the monthly chart, Kumis, what typically follows is price will go test that oscillator and change line. And that's exactly what is likely to unfold here. Now that is at 28.22. That number will rise as price rises. So where DraftKings is likely headed to, the daily chart has got a target of 2377. The weekly chart has got a target of 3771, and the monthly chart right now has a target of 2822. So everything here inside of DraftKings looks pretty good out there. So I do hope that helps you out. Kumis, thanks so much for taking the time to write in. Next question coming in from Hector and Patty. And Hector wants to take a look at CVX. So let's switch over to our other set of multi-time frame charts out here. And the question is, happy muddled Monday. CVX, the gift that keeps on giving. You loaded up this morning on the surprise pullback, whereas resistance and support on the weekly. Thanks, Hector and Patty. So the weekly level of support is between 137.53 and 142.51. The reason, Hector and Patty, that's between those levels is because it's a bullish structured weekly profile. Resistance, there's really two levels of resistance out here. The first level is the top of its weekly profile. That is priced at 157.47, and above that is the green oscillator and change line. And that's at 162.18. That's really the level that you need to see 2 consecutive weekly closes get above out there, Hector and Patty, to suggest a move back to its recent highs. That's what the weekly chart is suggesting. The monthly chart shows a TD9 count top that took price back to support. That was its green oscillator and change line, and therefore the monthly time frame provides us with a neutral signal. You do have a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top, by the way, on the weekly time frame chart, but we've already covered that, so I don't know that we need to go into that much further. And on a daily time frame, you had a TD9 count bottom and a TD9 count top. It was a bar following bar number 9 that identified the top. That was on July 29th. Price does what? Pulls back, tests, and rejects that oscillator and change line. It is the same thing that is going on this morning. Now, you loaded up, which I get. That's cool. That's with regard to price testing and so far rejecting that green oscillator and change line. And that's at 154.30. Price is below the bottom of its daily profile. It was a bullish structured daily profile out there. This is CVX. This is day 1 below it out there. So what I really watch is that green oscillator and change line on the daily time frame, Hector, and that's at 154.30. If price closes below that, then we're looking at a move back to 144.97, and if price gets below that, that's where the 137 to 142 area that gets into your weekly support level would come into play. So I hope that helps you out. Just a quick peek at the intraday chart, see if there's anything of significance here. The 30-minute has a confirmed buy the D point pattern. That would suggest a run up to the 157 area out there, 157.30, give or take. The 65-minute chart, TD9 count top, price tests and rejects its breakout level of support of 154.44. So again, those are areas, other areas to be watching. So if today's low gets taken out, where you had that buy the D point pattern on a 30-minute basis, that's not something you want to see if you are long CVX out there. So Hector and Patty, I hope that helps you out. Thanks so much for taking the time to write in, and have a magnificent, not a muddled, but have a magnificent Monday. Tim M. writes in, and Tim says, good morning, Steve. I'm looking for an entry in ON Semiconductor. So that is ON is the ticker symbol out there. That makes it easy. Let's get our daily, weekly, and monthly up here, ON, get that populated. So you're looking for an entry into ON. You're willing to keep your hands in your pockets, so it looks like it's a good entry on the daily and the weekly time frame. So we take a look at the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame last week was taking on its most recent high. That was January 7th. That was a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top, and that resistance level is at 71.25. Now the volume on that bar Not popping up there. There it is. 34 million shares. So 34 million shares. And last week, price was pushing into it with 47 million shares. So that signal said we would be back up there, which is where you're at today. Ideally, with regard, you're asking about an entry point. And this is maybe getting ready to take out a significant resistance level. And we take a look at the monthly time frame chart. So I don't have, let me just pull the monthly chart back here. If it gets above this area, and that's a close above that high of 71.25, you're really in breakout mode. You're in breakout mode on the monthly, on the weekly, on the daily. I'm looking for any kind of topping signal out here for you. I don't have anything on the daily time frame. So your question is, where would you buy this? You're willing to sit on your hands. I think you got to watch right now to see how this week takes on that resistance level. Where's a buy area? Well, I can give you one area, be the green oscillator and change on the daily time frame, 68.04. Below that would be 66.99. Below that would be 63.43. And below that would be between 58.97 and 59.72. The problem is we don't have anything, Tim, to even suggest that that is a likely outcome. We do have price testing resistance, the top of that weekly swing point. It did it last week with volume. Don't know what it will do this week out there. So I think you just have to be more patient and then take some time and then write back to me if this starts to pull back, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Let's go out to John in Philly. Hey, John, thanks for holding. Thanks for calling. How are you this morning?
Hey, thanks for taking the call. I'm doing very well, and hope you're doing the same. And we haven't spoken for a while, so I thought I'd give you a ring.
Well, thanks. Always good to hear your voice out there. How was your weekend?
Fabulous. Lots of family activities, so was pleased with that.
Excellent. Did you watch any of that golf, the girls junior amateur playing out at Chambers Bay?
To tell you the truth, I was participating this weekend, not spectating, so the answer is no.
Perfect. Okay, always better to participate. So I know you were calling about a Dr. Copper out there, looking at the September contract. And, John, what is it that I can help you with?
Steve, I am speculating that low back in July at $3.13 a pound was a end of a bear market decline. And we've had a nice pullback just the past 2 days. Steve, as I'm looking at that contract, I'm speculating that the rally mid-July into late last week is all or parts of a first wave of a new rally phase.
Okay.
And I observed today that the pullback overnight and into this morning's low tested and held the 200 exponential moving average on the 2-hour chart. And that's a tool and technique that Basil Chapman taught me and you and all of us long, long ago. So I am looking at that, asking the question, is that a pullback bottom? I am asking you if you can show your parameters on your profile work and your other proprietary work that may shed some light on that question. We'll do that in a minute. We're going to break, John. Just hold on. We'll do that as soon as we get back from the break.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We're on the line with John and Philly. We're taking a look at Dr. Copper. We're looking at the September contract. And John's first element that he shared with us was taking a look at the 2-hour time frame chart, which I've got up on the screen. I just rebuilt that for John and for each of us out there. And as he pointed out, price had pulled back and tested that 200-period exponential moving average. That's the blue line on my screen out there. The other thing that it has done, John, is while it was doing that, it was really on the very next bar out there, the very next 2-hour bar. That's the one that began at 8, closed at 10. That confirmed a buy the D point pattern. The reason I say that is because we had that nice bullish reversal candle that had formed during that 8 to 10 o'clock time frame. And as we speak right now, the next candle will close in about 17, I take that back in, 17 minutes out there. And John, if price can close above $3.59, that's the top of its profile, then what the 2-hour time frame chart will be telling us is that it wants to move to higher price. Before I switch over to the multi-panel charts, any questions that you might have about this chart that we're looking at?
Thanks, Steve. So far, so good.
Perfect. So now the question would be, on the 2-hour time frame chart, if price closes above the top of that profile, where is the next level of resistance? So that's what we're going to go look at. And that would be the oscillator and change line. So I'll expand out the chart, folks, and you can see that that is currently printing at $3.62 out there. If price can close above that, then that suggests that for the 2-hour time frame chart, you've got a change in trend, which is what I think you were kind of looking for out there. So that's where the price would likely target. If we look at, so the other thing that I want to do, I'm going to go, did I change screens? Yeah, I did. I'm going to change back to the black background screens for a moment, because what we're going to look at is the futures contracts. What I want to show you there, show everybody else that's listening, is where price is actually pulled back to on a daily time frame. So give me just a moment to find that. We should be at copper. Here we go. So if we take a look at the September contract, you can even look at the December contract, both really doing the same thing out there, although it's the September that you're interested in. What price was doing was pulling back and testing two potential levels of support. The first level is the top of its daily profile. When price closes above the top of a daily profile, it's typically that was resistance before. And once you close above that, if you get two consecutive closes, you've broken through resistance, and oftentimes old resistance can become new support. In this instance here, that's that level of support at $3.56 for the September contract, $3.57 for the December contract out there. So that level of support is held. Also, I've got a little rising trend line for the daily time frames. Price has held that. So the answer to your question, is it likely, based upon the 2-hour time frame chart, that we have a bottom? On the daily time frame chart, is it possible that the pullback has been nothing more than a level of support? Then the answer to your question is yes. I don't see it any other way. Any questions about those charts?
So far, so good. Really good.
All right. So let's go back to the multi-time frame set of charts out here. This way we can get a play-by-play out here. So on the daily time frame, where is price likely headed to? There's an A to B equals CD to the upside. And it was on the other charts. The first target would be $3.88. And I would maintain that as long as price remains above $3.57, that's where price is headed to, $3.88. Now remember, we had $3.62 on the 2-hour time frame chart, so that could just be a pit stop. But if price gets above that, then we know where price is likely headed to, that $3.88 level. If I look at the 5-hour time frame chart, it did generate a Rhodes momentum indicator, a 7th wave top out there, a TD9 count top. But what price did here, John, was it pulled back to its breakout level of support at $3.57, and so far that is held. The same thing on the 4-hour time frame chart, Rhodes momentum indicator top, wave number 7. Thank you, Basil Chapman. But now it looks like you're going to get a TD9 count bottom. Now this candle will close at 2 p.m. And all that needs to occur is for high-grade copper to close below $3.64. If it does that on a 4-hour time frame chart, you'll have a TD9 count bottom. So you could have a TD9 count bottom on the 4-hour, price pulling back to support on the 5-hour, price pulling back to support on the daily, a nice buy the D point on the 2-hour time frame chart. So the only thing that's going to get in your way of a potential short-term top looks to me like it would be the 30-minute time frame, which is in bar number 8 right now. Price should approach a $3.62 level. That's the TD9 count breakdown area. But you should see a short-term top that forms between noon and 1 o'clock. And then if that happens, then we'd see some type of retracement out there. Where would that retracement take us to? It probably at that stage, if it takes hold, would want to come back and look at the 10, 15-minute time frame chart. So everything here looks good. It does, when I say looks good, levels of support have held. Intraday charts, we've got some bottom patterns out there. And so I think that your inclination, your suspicion is being confirmed even with today's price action.
And Steve, that's terrific. That 8-panel setup, that's very helpful. I might just ask you parenthetically, as we go forward past today, if in fact copper rallies and surpasses last week's high, could you just periodically update that the progress of that rally phase, and just share with us what you see?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll certainly continue to do that out there. Longer term, because of that bottom pattern that is in a daily time frame, if price takes out last week's highs, you've got the A to B equals CD pattern. Those price projection levels are 388, 401, 417, 435 out there. And as you get up to the 435 level, that's where you get the TD9 count breakdown resistance. But we'll definitely continue to monitor high-grade copper for you and share that during the show from 11 to 12 each day. All right, my friend?
Thanks so much, Steve. Bye now.
You bet. That was John in Philly, who was taking the opportunity to play some golf. I'd asked him about, I don't know if any of you folks out there are golfers, or maybe not, but you're watching the U.S. Amateur. I have not been out to Oregon to play Chambers Bay, but how can you not want to do that? But John, he's from Philly, also has a place in Wisconsin, so he's got some pretty cool places to play golf up at Kohler out there. But between Bandon Dunes and Chambers Bay, we ought to do a TFNN function up there, don't you think? I do. All right, so let me make sure that, see if there's any other questions out here. We got through Tim's, we got through John. Looks like Nicholas writes in. So Nick writes in, he says, good morning, Steve, vacation to California. That's beautiful, great dry weather out there. That's perfect, going to Lake Tahoe. Now that sounds like a bunch of fun out there. I used to have a retail store in Bill's Casino out there. Just a small little store. Meantime, would you please go over ACB and Tilray out here? So let's switch back to, we're on the white background charts. Let's go over to a 3-time frame chart out there and take a look at ACB, Aurora Cannabis out here, see what it is doing. The other one that he was interested in is Tilray, TLRY. Let's take a look at what we've got out here for Aurora Cannabis. Aurora Cannabis trading out at $1.89. I don't have any kind of a topping signal, so it should continue to move higher. Move higher to where? So the next level of resistance, you got a nice TD9 count bottom on the weekly time frame. Your level of resistance out here, Nicholas, is the top of its weekly profile, and that is at $2.01. You're at $1.89. If price can close above 201 this week, then that's going to be a suggestion of a move up to 378. The weekly TD9 count breakdown level. No bottom pattern or signal on the monthly time frame. So it's really going to be all about the weekly time frame. Now, on the daily, what it's doing nicely is it's trading well above the top of its daily profile, above its oscillator and change line. So really, the work is at 201. You get above 201, this continues to move higher out there. Again, with 378 being a price target, $3.10 would be another price target as well. TLRY. Hear the break music. We've got about 15 seconds. I don't know that this will populate that quickly. Till rate on a daily basis headed to 454. That's a TD9 count breakdown level. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
Vista Gold owns and operates the largest undeveloped gold project in Australia, the Mount Todd Gold Project. Vista Gold just completed their feasibility study, resulting in a 7 million ounce gold reserve. Vista Gold has all major permits approved and has retained CIBC capital market assistance in evaluating alternatives and in completing an accretive transaction. Vista Gold trades on the NYSE American and TSX under the ticker symbol VGZ. Vista Gold, executing a strategy to create shareholder value.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched The Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. So the chart that I've got up on my screen right now is the Dow price in the four major currencies. U.S. dollars, which is what people will typically look at. But then we're taking a look at the Dow price in euros, yen, and pounds out there. And maybe you don't think there's much of a party going on inside the Dow, at least here in the U.S. They are partying big time when it comes to the Dow priced in pounds out there. You got to a new all-time high last week. You're at a new all-time high as we speak right now. The same thing with regard to euros, close at a new all-time high on Friday. You're at another. You've got a wide-ranging bar today. With regard to yen, it's not that far away from making a new all-time high. This is not how major tops form in the markets out here. You don't have the Dow going on to newer highs in major currencies and then not have that same thing take place in the Dow. No, I'm not saying that the markets can't move lower out there, because they absolutely can. But with regard to understanding, why did the Dow give up its losses this morning out here? Well, one thing is for sure. If you're trading the Dow over in Europe right now, whether it's in pounds or it is in euros out there, it's a buyer's market. It's a bull market out there. Bull market in a big, gigantic way. So just something for us to consider. Let's go to the last question that came in. This is from Michael in Pennington, who wants to take a look at Disney. He says Disney's headed up into the 130 area, and his question is, how does that look? Well, Disney looks very bullish to me. The next level of resistance here, Michael, for the daily time frame is 127.35. 127.35 is its next TD9 count breakdown level. That gets us close to the 130 level. If price can overcome 127.35, then the target becomes the weekly TD9 count breakdown area. And it's at the 133.59. And then we take a look at the monthly time frame chart. By the way, Disney's got a beautiful Rhodes Momentum Indicator daily bottom, the same on the weekly, and it's got a buy the D point on the monthly. So Disney's got everything that it needs out there. And the monthly chart says 135.56. So, Michael, I agree with you. Disney's headed towards that 130 area. The question is, can it take out 127.35? Folks, thanks so much for joining me here on Magnificent Monday. Please stay tuned. We've got great programming up next. Have a terrific day, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow on Terrific Tuesday, 11 o'clock sharp. Be safe out there.